You don't relapse because you're weak. You relapse because your life is perfectly designed for porn to win. Same room, same phone, same late night scroll, same whisper in your head. Just this once. 10 minutes later, you're back in the shame spiral, promising tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow looks exactly like today. In this video, I want to show you how to break that loop by building what I call a relapse-proof structure. Not a fantasy of never feeling urges again, but a real-world system that makes porn harder, slower, and less rewarding than staying clean. We're going to unpack why motivation fails, how your brain is wired into these loops, and then build a concrete framework around your time, your tech, your environment, and your emotions, so that slipping back becomes the exception, not the rule. If nothing has stuck long-term for you yet, stay with me. This will feel very different from just use more willpower. This channel is about building systems for self-mastery, not chasing quick dopamine hits of motivation. Today we're going deep into how to quit porn loops by engineering your life so relapse becomes structurally difficult. We'll cover how the porn loop actually works in your brain, why you keep repeating the same cycle even when you genuinely want to stop, and how to design a practical daily structure around triggers, urges, environment, and routines. You'll walk away with a blueprint you can literally write down and follow. If you're serious about long-term change, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss the follow-up videos where we'll expand this into relationships, confidence, and purpose. And do yourself a favor. Watch this till the end, because the final segments tie everything together into a weekly ritual that keeps you from sliding back after a stressful day. Let's start by dissecting the porn loop itself. To break the porn loop, you first have to see it clearly. Most people think relapse is a single moment of "I gave in." In reality, it's a chain of events that often starts hours, even days, before you open your browser. Here's the basic loop. Trigger, story in your head. Urge, ritual, porn, crash, guilt, promise to stop, back to trigger. The trigger might be stress, boredom, loneliness, or simple habit, like lying in bed with your phone. Then your mind tells a story. I need a release. It's not a big deal. I already messed up this week. That story amplifies the urge. You start the ritual, headphones in, dim lights, certain websites, certain positions. After the session, you crash, physically and emotionally. Our goal isn't to fight the urge at the end of the chain. It's to insert friction and alternatives at every earlier link so the loop can't close cleanly. Now let's personalize that loop. Generic advice fails because your triggers are unique to your lifestyle, history, and psychology. Grab a notebook or notes app and write down your last 3 relapses. For each one, answer: what time was it? Where was I? Who had I interacted with that day? What emotion was strongest? Stress, boredom, rejection, loneliness, anger, shame. What was I telling myself right before I opened anything? Patterns will emerge. Maybe it's always after scrolling social media at night. Maybe it's when you get into bed with your phone. Maybe it's after arguments, or when you're overwhelmed with work and want to escape. This step sounds simple, but it's the foundation of a relapse-proof structure. You're turning a vague problem, "I keep messing up," into a map of predictable situations. And what you can predict, you can design around. Once you've written those patterns, keep them nearby. We're going to use them to reshape your environment next. Willpower is weakest when your environment is perfectly optimized for relapse. The easiest win is to make your surroundings less porn-friendly and more recovery-friendly. Start with locations. If you always act out in your bed, you need a new rule. Bed is for sleep only. No phone, no laptop. Charge your phone across the room or in another space. If your desk is the danger zone, rearrange it. Change where your monitor faces. Remove the chair from easy reach at night, or work only with the door open. Then, time. Identify your danger hours, maybe 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., or when you get home from work. During those hours, create default replacement activities. stretch routine, reading, journaling, cleaning, calling a friend. Your brain loves default paths. Environment design isn't about perfection. It's about adding just enough friction that autopilot relapse becomes unlikely, forcing you to make a conscious choice instead of sliding. Your phone and laptop are often the real dealers. A relapse-proof structure always includes digital defenses, not as a cage, but as a seatbelt that keeps you safe when you're tired or emotional. 3 layers. First, filtering. Install a serious website blocker or accountability browser that requires a password you don't know. Block explicit sites, image searches, and loopholes. Second, friction. Enable app timers for social media and late-night browsing. Make it annoying, not impossible, to bypass. That pause is often enough to reconsider. Third, visibility. Use screen monitoring or accountability software that sends a weekly report to a trusted person. Knowing that someone could see your digital footsteps changes how your brain negotiates with itself. These tools won't fix underlying issues, but they shrink the window between impulse and action. Combined with the environment shifts you're making, your old automatic path to porn becomes slower, more visible, and easier to interrupt with healthier choices. Even with better environments and blockers, urges will still hit. The mistake is believing you must obey them immediately. A core part of relapse-proof structure is the delay and disrupt rule. Here's how it works. When an urge hits, you commit to delaying any decision for 15 minutes. During those 15 minutes, you follow a pre-written script. Stand up, leave the room, drink a glass of water, do 20 slow breaths. Then a short physical activity, push-ups, a walk, stretching, or a simple task like washing dishes. Your only job is not to decide while your brain is flooded. After 15 minutes, you check in. How strong is the urge now from 1 to 10? Most people find it drops significantly or shifts in quality. You're teaching your nervous system a powerful lesson. I can feel this and not act. That tiny separation between urge and action is where actual freedom starts. Now let's upgrade that into an actual urge surfing ritual, drawn from mindfulness and addiction science. Instead of fighting urges or obeying them, you learn to ride them like waves. When the craving hits, sit down somewhere safe. No screens. Close your eyes. Name it. This is an urge. Rate it 1 to 10. Notice where you feel it in your body. Chest tightness, stomach heat, buzzing in your head. Breathe slowly into that area for a count of 4 in, 6 out. Your goal isn't to remove the urge, it's to observe it changing. Mentally say, waves rise and fall. This will too. Set a 5-minute timer and commit to just watching without acting. Over time, you'll notice urges peak and then soften. That experience rebuilds self-trust. You're no longer a victim of the impulse. Combine this with delay and disrupt, and suddenly an urge is a cue for a ritual that strengthens you instead of a trigger that defeats you. Accountability has a bad reputation because most people do it poorly. Vague promises and awkward check-ins that fade after a week. Let's design accountability that actually supports your relapse-proof structure. Pick 1 or 2 trusted people, a close friend, mentor, or support group member. Explain clearly, I'm working on quitting porn. I don't expect perfection, but I want structure. Agree on 3 things: frequency of check-ins, what you'll report, and what they'll do. For example, a 10-minute call every Sunday where you share wins, slips, triggers, and your plan for the next week. They don't need to lecture you, just listen, ask questions, and remind you of your goals. Pair this with digital visibility tools if possible. The point isn't to outsource your willpower, it's to add a social layer that makes secrecy harder and honesty easier. Isolation feeds addiction, exposure starves it. Quitting porn isn't only about stopping something, it's about rewiring your reward system. If you remove a high-intensity stimulus and don't replace it, your brain will scream for it. List 3 categories: physical, creative, and social. For physical, choose activities that raise your heart rate and release tension. Lifting, running, sports, even intense walking. For creative, think music, writing, design, coding projects, learning an instrument. For social, aim for real human connection. Calls, group activities, hobbies with others. Now connect them to your trigger times. If evenings are dangerous, schedule your workout then, or a creative project you genuinely enjoy. The rule: when you feel that itchy, restless craving, you don't just sit and resist, you redirect into one of your pre-chosen replacement habits. Over weeks, your brain starts associating stress or boredom with these new outlets. Porn goes from being your only valve to just one option, and increasingly, not the most satisfying one. Sleep, stress, and hormones quietly sabotage most recovery plans. When you're exhausted and fried, your brain will grab for the fastest relief it knows: porn. First, sleep. Aim for a consistent window, even if the number of hours isn't perfect yet. Late-night relapses often vanish when you decide, screens off at 10:30, lights out at 11, and actually protect that boundary. Second, stress. You need daily pressure valves, workouts, walks, journaling, prayer, or meditation, talking things out. If stress only builds, porn will feel like the only off switch. Third, physiology. Heavy caffeine, junk food, and constant stimulation keep your nervous system revved, which magnifies urges. You don't have to live like a monk, but small shifts, more water, real meals, some sunlight, make urges more manageable. Think of this as building a stable platform. A relapse-proof structure can't sit on top of chronic sleep deprivation and unprocessed stress and expect to hold. Underneath many porn loops are unspoken emotional needs: loneliness, rejection, shame, lack of intimacy. Porn becomes a fake shortcut to feeling wanted, powerful, or soothed. A relapse-proof structure has to address the real need, not just the behavior. Ask yourself, what does porn give me emotionally? Is it escape from pressure, a sense of being desired, a way to numb pain? Then design real-world responses. If it's loneliness, schedule regular social time, even if it's just one weekly meetup or call. If it's rejection, commit to building skills and courage in dating, friendships, or creative work. If it's shame, you might need therapy or a support group to process old wounds. Nothing changes overnight, but when your life gradually includes real connection, honest conversations, and a sense of progress, the emotional job porn was doing becomes less necessary. You're not just quitting, you're upgrading to something actually human. Even with all this structure, you will probably slip at some point. A relapse-proof life doesn't mean zero slips. It means slips don't turn into spirals. Create a written reset ritual for the next time you mess up. Step 1. Brutally honest acknowledgement. No minimization, no dramatization. Step 2. Pattern review. Within 24 hours, write down what led up to it: triggers, thoughts, decisions. Step 3. One concrete adjustment, maybe strengthening a blocker, changing a bedtime, or adding a check-in. Step 4. Compassionate self-talk. Literally write, I am not starting from zero. I still have all the skills I've built. This is data, not destiny. Step 5. Immediate re-engagement with your routines. Workout, social plan, meditation. By rehearsing this before you need it, you rob relapse of its favorite partner: hopelessness. The slip becomes a feedback signal inside your structure, not proof that the structure doesn't work. Let's pull this together into a clear picture of your relapse-proof structure. You've mapped your personal porn loop: triggers, stories, urges, rituals, so it's no longer this mysterious force. You've reshaped your physical environment and your schedule, especially during danger hours, to make relapse less automatic. Your digital defenses, filters, friction, and visibility act like guardrails when you're tired. You've learned the delay and disrupt rule and an urge surfing ritual, giving you real tools for the exact moment cravings hit. You've started building replacement habits in physical, creative, and social areas, so your reward system has healthier options. You're stabilizing the basics: sleep, stress management, physiology, so your brain isn't constantly on edge. You're addressing deeper emotional needs with real connection, not just pixels. And you've designed a reset ritual, and as we'll add next, a weekly review to keep improving the system. This is how porn goes from unbeatable habit to manageable pattern inside a structure that supports who you're becoming. Now it's time to turn ideas into action. Don't try to rebuild your entire life tonight. Pick 3 moves you can implement in the next 24 hours. For example, 1. Map your last 3 relapses and identify patterns. 2. Change one key environment rule, like no phone in bed. 3. Install or upgrade your digital defenses and tell one trusted person about your goal. Then, schedule a weekly 20-minute review, same day, same time. Ask, where did I feel strongest? Where did I feel weakest? What small tweak can I make this week to my structure? This keeps your system alive instead of becoming another forgotten plan. If this video helped, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't lose momentum. We'll be building on this with deeper dives into relationships, purpose, and confidence without porn. Drop a comment with the one structural change you're committing to this week. Your future self will thank you for starting today, not someday.